Okay, we are all set. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this session on A-powered educational comics creation by Surag. A little bit about myself. I work at Hewlett Packard Enterprise as information developer and also volunteer for Manage the Dogs. As all of you know, Manage the Dogs is a community for department heads, aspiring managers, or managers who have direct or lateral responsibility of managing projects for their organization. So, we have Surag here to present the session today. Surag is a result oriented technical communications leader with more than 2 decades of experience in technical documentation. His career has spanned government organizations, dynamic startups, and multinational corporations, giving him a diverse background in various organizational structures. Surag's expertise extends beyond technical documentation to include product marketing and instructional design, rounding out his skill set in effectively communicating complex technical information. In addition to his professional achievements in technical communication, Surag is a published author of short stories and novels in both English and Malayalam. Furthermore, Surag is a comics creator who has published comic books handling all aspects of the process from writing to illustrating. This versatility allows him to approach technical communication from multiple angles, enhancing his ability to convey information clearly and effectively. He is currently working at Certus as the Director of Technical Communications. Over to you, Surag.
Thank you very much, Sharath. Thanks for the good introduction. It's good. Why? Because I only wrote and gave it to him. So I write all the nice things about myself and asked him to read so that I can feel wow, kind of a thing. All right. So thanks everybody for joining my session. I think I'll start my presentation. I'll put it into before starting that I need to share my screen, right? So I'll share the screen. All right. And then start the presentation. Hope you can see it in the
We
slide.
can see.
Oh,
Yes.
all right, thank you. Okay, so I named it as AI-powered educational comics creation, and I'll talk about my journey into this educational comics field. So after around 2 decades of experience into technical writing, I was thinking of moving to something a bit more creative with a visual kind of storytelling. So of course videos were there, but I always had this interest in my mind to write comics because as somebody who has grown in India, obviously influenced by Amar Chitrakada, this educational comics was always there. Say, as you know, Amar Chitrakada, they not only came up with comics in epics, they also talked about the historical figures, Akbar, Rana Pratap, Shah Jahan, Sultan Arasia, many others. Of course, mythological and religious stories like Mahabharata, Ramayana, Jesus Christ. They had many, many titles, and they also talked about historical figures, Indian freedom fighters, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So, with many titles, many issues on these figures. So, there are many others, including me, who thought that we learned more from our Chitragada rather than our history textbooks. So, this educational comics, it is there in our life directly or indirectly, and we all got influenced by that. And when it came to the technical writing, my inspiration was Google's Chrome Help comic book. It came out in 2008. I think some of you might have seen that. There were discussions about this in many mailing lists during that time, international mailing lists like TechRel, many mailing lists during that time about this particular comic book because it was created by legendary Scott McCloud. So Scott McCloud, he came up with the drawings, but the script was written by the engineers in Google. So there was certain criticism about the script because many were of the opinion that if a technical writer had written the script, it could have been better. So unfortunately, and there were efforts by many other companies also, but it was like one of kind of efforts here and there kind of a thing. It didn't really come as a format for technical writing deliverables like a user guide or an online help, a comic book kind of presentation. That didn't really happen much. One of the reason I think is because it's really difficult to come up with a comic book because if you see bigger comic book companies like DC, Marvel, and many others, there is an assembly line process kind of creation because there will be a writer who will write, and then there will be a there will be a penciler who will draw. Then there will be an inker who will ink. Then there will be a colorist who will color the comics. Then there will be a letterer who will come up with the word bubbles, right? And finally, there are editors who will edit this book and then release. So it's such a collaborative process, and it takes close to sometimes even years, 5 to 10 months, or sometimes even years to come up with a proper full comic book. I'm not talking about a comic magazine kind of books with the stapled 22 pages. I'm talking about a graphic novel or a full-fledged book that comes out. Uh, so coming back to this, what I was thinking was I wanted to come up with something that is the drawing that is semi-realistic or illustrative kind of thing, not simple cartoon kind of drawings, and obviously influenced by DC and Marvel style of illustrations. And it was very difficult to do something like that before AI or before generative AI. So when the AI art generation started, or when the art generators came, just like text generators like ChatGPT, Gemini, etc., there are art generators like Midjourney, Leonardo AI, and so on. So when the art generators came, I found that it was possible to create comics, and I was fascinated to that extent that I started creating comics as proof of concept to convince myself that I can do that. Once I was able to do this, then by the end of last year, I got in touch with an edtech company. And the issue that they had was they were not able to afford me in the sense, give me the kind of salary I was getting in the organizations before. So I told them that I'll work with them and they can take me on contract. So I joined them on January 1st, 2024, the beginning of this year, and I started creating educational comics for them because they are an edtech company and they used to come up with various courses for school students. That is 21st century skills like mechatronics, coding, artificial intelligence, those kind of things were taught to the students. And for that, if they, among their deliverables, if we were able to place comics as a marketing tool, as a product, and even as a uh, training material. So that led to my association with them, and I was able to create a series of comics with them. And I was also able to get another sponsor. This is a second project. So a similar kind of a project, but with him, what he wanted was a financial literacy series for kids. So I was able to do that also. So in this presentation, so I did it till last month, and then I joined my present organization, that is Certis, coming back to the corporate role, but coming back to technical writing. So it was a sabbatical, and I will be sharing today my experience, my first-hand experience and insights on what all things I was able to do. Now, the image sources that are used in this presentation, including the first image. So almost everything is generated from AI tools. So what I did was I also further edited some of them using traditional software. What I mean by traditional software is software like Photoshop. They also support AI now, by the way. So that is, you can select a particular area and then ask generative AI to fill in that region. So I took the images, or I prompted for the images using art generators. In some cases, I took them to Photoshop and edited further. And some cases, I just left like that. Okay, it's like need not be that perfect kind of a thing. So in this particular presentation, as I go through the slides, you can see those images as well as the content, and that's how the comic books are also, right? So it is both a literary medium as well as a visual medium. So now let's go to the, with that introduction to my journey about the educational comics, let's go to the next field. So this is the intersection of three fields, that is technical writing, artificial intelligence, and educational comics. So the kind of activities that a technical writer do in order to get the information, that is by going through the existing literature, by interacting with the subject matter experts, all those things are applicable to educational comics also. And you then come up with a script, then you move to the drawing part, that is, you put them into various panels, and for that you are using artificial intelligence or generative AI as a tool. So that is how the process is at a high level. Now, coming back to what I was able to do, so these are the two clients that I had, or two projects I undertook. One is Igniter and AI Adventure Series. So, as the name suggests, it is a set of comic books on the subject artificial intelligence itself. So that was the first project, and the second one was about money adventures, or financial literacy for kids. Now, if somebody among you is wondering whether the comics are they really really that big, or is it really a big deal, or should somebody really take comics seriously? Let me tell you, comics are also a part of geek culture. So, what I mean by geek culture is there are certain subcultures like science fiction, fantasy, right? So, say for example, many of you might be the fans of Harry Potter series. If you are not, you might be knowing somebody who is a big fan of Harry Potter series. So then you have the Lord of Rings series. Then you have the Game of Thrones series. So what happens is something that we all went through as kids. That is fairy tales, fantasy, all those things are having adult fans as well, right? So, like that, similarly, science fiction. If you are a fan of Star Wars, right? If you are a fan of Star Trek, so all those things, which normally people who are not a fan of that may think that, okay, they might be dismissing it as something that only children should do. Those things are vigorously followed by, or passionately followed by people who are fans of that particular that particular niche interest. So they will have deep expertise about that, and they have an enthusiasm for learning more about the characters, more about the costumes, more they indulge in many activities, and they would like to get into more and more deeper aspects of that. So technology, science fiction, video games, comics, some genres of TV shows, all those people indulge in that kind of culture. And it's not just in US, it's not just in Western countries, it's there in India, it's there and you, there will be somebody, either you yourself will be a fan like that, or there will be somebody whom you know who is a fan of these activities. So these people, and they go for the conventions. So you have the Comic Con here, right? So like that, you these people go for the conventions. They are very active at online forums that discuss that. So years ago, when these things didn't happen in US and other countries, perhaps even in India also, people used to come up with the fan signs. So fan signs are handwritten magazines that they come up for the interest that they are actively pursuing. So that used to happen earlier. Now with the online media, with the social media, it really exploded. That is, people really love doing that and will go to any extent to fulfill their passion. So the what happened is the mainstream acceptance or the popular culture also slowly accepted that. One main reason will be that the leading media franchises or the movie houses, they thought to come up with various films and based on these characters when it comes to comics or anything that forms a part of the geek culture, and that led to the widespread popularity of these geek culture areas, including comics. So I remember in the going through various discussions in technical writing, international technical writing forums in the in the beginning of this century. That is, to people mentioning that nowadays in the local comic stores, the average age of people that I see is between 18 to 35. So does that mean that people are more interested in comics, or is it because of the films that are released on various characters that people are more interested? So many discussions on that. Why not we use it for technical communication to convey some of the complex concepts in a visual manner? So there were various discussions on that, and so as seeing this change happening all over the world, starting from Western countries. Now, so as a continuation of that, it is no longer what the children likes. That is beyond the childhood, the comics, this geek culture phenomenon. They have really moved ahead because if you look into the earlier superheroes, I think Superman came in late 30s. So during that time, the earlier superheroes, they were like very perfect. That is, they used to have all the good qualities. The villains were painted in dark, so it used to be like that. But later, what happened is the superheroes, the evolution really happened. That is, this superheroes, they also started tackling various social issues. And superheroes themselves were having many issues. They had bills to pay. They had to date somebody to get their attention. They had to do certain jobs to keep up their livelihood, and superhero powers was sometimes a kind of a disturbance for them. So it went on, and the evolution, that is, the superheroes also became more human kind of things, and people started relating to these people and their problem, the kind of issues that they are tackling, and that led to more fans. And the influence happened also obviously through movies, TV, and other media. Other media means the merchandise business that really flourished a lot. Then you also see the superhero themed video games. So all those things used to happen. Even though I'm talking more about the superheroes, the comics are there in all kinds of genres. That is romance, comedy, uh, crime. So all sorts of areas these comics are there, but it became more popular with the humor kind of comics as well as superhero kind of comics. So And then there was also the appreciation for the art styles and the storytelling techniques. So, for example, Watchmen, a comic book, it is considered as one of the, it is among the list of the great novels that are written. So, it's a graphic novel, but it's also a great novel. So, the art styles also are earlier the comic, when you say comic you think of them as cartoons. Nowadays they are very realistic kind of images used to come in the comics. So we used to, they are not long just doodles kind of drawing. They are like the whole world is created in the comics. So one of the important aspects, or one of the reason that I'm very fascinated with these comics, is because in one page you can create the whole universe, and the next page you can even destroy the whole universe. So that kind of impact, that kind of detailing, that kind of depth is there in the comics nowadays. So there is so you can note this art style factor. Why? Because when you are creating comics, you can think about different type of art style, the kind of art style that you like more, and then concentrate on that. It need not be just cartoonistic way of creating comics. And the community that really flourished with the conventions, online forums, and the shared passion. So, so just like when we go to a technical writing event, that is when we go to an STC conference, when we go to a TechCom conference or any conference, or even the webinar like that, we all are having a kind of liking to each other just because we are all from the field of technical writing. Similarly, these guys, when they go to these kind of conventions, there are deep friendships that they form with others who were total strangers before, by attending by being a part of the community. And when it comes to the educational value, comics are used in academia to teach literature, to teach history, to teach social studies, and so on. Even science, because the comics that I have written is about artificial intelligence. So there is like, it's only an open mindset to embrace these things that is really required. And the things are really changing, because earlier I used to hear some stories of somebody, some technical writer saying that I came up with a comic book along with a graphic designer, and it wasn't really received by the management. So both of us keep it in our portfolio, but unfortunately we could never bring it out. But I think the things are, it was told some 20 years ago, or 20 or 30 years ago, I think, because 20 years ago he was telling about something he did 10 years before. So some 30 years ago, the things were like that. But the things are really changing nowadays, and it is widely accepted. So, another thing I would like to say here is my comic book, when they were selling in various events, the company was telling that among the buyers, the competitors are also buying, which means others are also trying to catch up with what we are doing. They are curious whether they can create something like that. They are also into that. So it is really getting accepted. It is the competitors are getting into the field, and I hope that more and more comics will be used in various activities like that. So uh, so how to use a comic book? So, or I'll rather say how I use the comic book with the help of the company with whom I worked. So that company is called the UVPEP. So as you say, there is a price associated with that, which means this itself is a product. So it is sold in their events. It's also sold in their online store. So that is really a welcome change I had, because earlier, as a technical writer, as a technical writing leader also, what I used to see is we were a part of more like a support kind of an activity. A main product, the software is there, and we are there to enhance the, or we are there uh, to write about the software so that people who are using the software can benefit. Now, in this particular case, what happened is this itself is a product. So people were coming to me with the reviews. They were coming to me about how we can design this, how I should be doing that, how I. So it was a very welcome change for me when I went through this experience. So one way is to use this itself as a product. Second thing is to use it as a marketing material. So so in this particular comic book, how we proceeded was in the earlier pages we mentioned only about the about why AI or the aspects of artificial intelligence. Or we mentioned about artificial intelligence without giving any hint about the company or UVPEP. But in the last page, we had a coupon. So in that coupon, if somebody uses that coupon, they will get a discount for the course that the company is conducting. So only in the last page we mentioned about that. So that coupon was there. They can tear the coupon and they can get it or they can use it for that particular course. So it was used as a marketing material also. So it was used as a product. It is used as a marketing material. And the third thing is it was used as uh, it was used as an educational material or a courseware material as a part of the course. So it was like a versatile use of this particular medium. So is really fascinated by that kind of power and that this particular a single artifact has. So that itself is sold as a product, can be used as a marketing material, or is being used as a marketing artifact and is used as a course material. So that was the versatility and that the comic book was able to offer. Now, let us go ahead with the generative AI art generators. So so just like there are text generators like ChatGPT, to whom we can provide a particular prompt and get an output, there are many popular platforms for AI art generators: DALL-E, Midjourney, Stable Fusion, Leonardo AI, Playground AI, and so on. So, and they are able to generate diverse styles. Say, for example, the figure that you are seeing, sorry, the image that you are seeing in this particular slide, that's also generated uh, from the art generators. So, and it can be used for concept art, storyboarding, marketing visuals, educational comics, and so on. So don't want to digress a lot, but I'll still mention that during my sabbatical, I also was involved with a project for a movie. So what they and the script and the movie is still not out, but how I was involved was the script was written. The director himself wrote the script, and what I did was I came up with the storyboarding of the how the action was based, and it will be used for getting the for pitching with the OTT producers. And once they get into that mode, once they get the sponsorship or a producer, it can be used during the actual shooting of the film. So like that, there are many other ways in which one can think about using the AI art generators. So the customization, improved quality, and integration with other tools, I think the future is really vast in this particular area. Why? Because when it comes to the generative AI, one thing I used to relate to is a saying that during some decades nothing happened, but uh, during some weeks decades happen. So that's the kind of growth that the generative AI was able to achieve and is continuing to achieve. So obviously all these art generators will keep on increasing their quality and the kind of output that they are able to generate. Obviously, various controversies also will come. The ethical aspect, all those things are there. But when we focus on to the creative part of that, the potential is enormous. So what I like to proceed with the next few slides is various prompts or various art styles that one can think about in the comic books. So one is the realism kind of an art form. So here just see this example prompt. Generate a realistic landscape painting featuring a serene mountain range during sunset, with the foreground showing a calm lake reflecting the vibrant colors of sky and the surrounding lush greenery. So that was the prompt given to obtain this particular image. So that is one kind of art style that one can think about. Obviously, you can play around with this and keep on changing it. So this is not just for creating the comic books. If you are coming up with a presentation and if you want to have certain images to be placed with that, or if you require images for social media generation or many such aspects, you can use various prompts with the art generators. So this is one such style, that is realism. Then there is another art style, that is minimalism. So for creating this image, this is the kind of example prompt that was given. Obviously, I'll be sharing this and you can go through this. So realism is one art style, minimalism is another art style. And this is the for comics you can try out this, that is retro or vintage kind of art style. So if you are interested in the comics that were there in the 50s or 60s in America and you want to recreate that kind of style, obviously this is something that you can try out, this kind of example prompts. So that is for the vintage style. Then it's like more geometric art kind of style. So if you are interested in this kind of an aspect, or if there is a need for this is another type of style that you can try out for, not just for comics, for generating various images using the art generators. The next one is, it's this one is more for comics, it's a vector art style. So obviously, and this is another way or another style that you can utilize in the creation of various images. So like that, so how to get the art styles or how to get the prompt for you to get started, obviously you can use this. Or if you are interested in an altogether different art style that you want to try out, one thing is you can get inspiration from Midjourney prompts. So the prompts that people use in Midjourney, which is obviously out there, you can go to their website and see that, or any other art generators, see the existing prompts that people are using. That is one way. Second thing is you can ask the text generators, that is you can use the various generative AI platforms like ChatGPT to give you a prompt for the kind of art style that you are looking for, and then you can experiment with that and then generate the output. Now, there are issues with the ready-made comic strip generators. So whatever I mentioned so far is about art generators. There are ready-made comic strip generator websites as well. So the thing is, the way I used to create the comics is not by going to any of the comic strip generator website. Maybe they may improve in the future or some of the issues may get done, but I wasn't a big fan of these comic strip generators, because one thing is if you are thinking about a comic book, one of the biggest challenge here is the consistency of the characters. So just like ChatGPT gives different outputs for the same prompt, these art generators also give different image outputs for the same prompt. So if you have a particular character and you want to consider reusing various that particular character in different forms, different shapes, different emotions, different activities, then you have an issue. So when you go to a comic strip generator website, there also you face this issue, that is the character appearance, style and tone. So that will be different. Second thing is the narrative flow and sequencing. So you have a particular storyline, and these comic strip generators, the context understanding is not that great. That's what I felt. The test integration, artistic style control, all those things, and all, even the copyright and originality concerns. So the thing is, if you go to a comic strip generator and generate a comic, uh, it is like almost like a ready-made kind of a thing. So so anybody else can do the same thing, and you cannot claim the copyright over that, and they can simply use your comic book and say that they got the same output from the comic strip generator. And so you have that kind of issues, and technical limitations are also there. So what I use is, as I mentioned, I go to the art generators, and this is the step-by-step process I follow. So first, what I do is I develop the story outline and select the panels. So you need to think like a writer, or you are a writer or a fiction writer, and come up with the story first. Then you need to develop the story outline or the script for that, and then you need to decide how many panels should be there, what all things should go in each of the panels, and how to proceed with that. And once you have that idea, the second step is to go to the art generators and generate the visuals that you can place in each of these panels. Then, where do you place the panels, or which is the tool that is used for that? One thing is you can place them or arrange the elements using various software like Adobe Illustrator or Corel Draw or Manga Studio. So, manga is a style of comics, generally the Japanese comics that are generally read the from back to front kind of a thing. So if you are interested in manga style of comics, Manga Studio is a good tool for that. Or you can use Adobe Illustrator, or you can even use PowerPoint, because you can have panels in PowerPoint as well. So whatever be the tool, you arrange the panels, and then and fill in the panels with the visuals that you have generated based on the script that you have written, and then the appropriate font and text. So generally, the comic fonts are appreciated for comic books. So it's like there are a lot of comic fonts out there, starting from Comic Sans, which is freely available. So you can think about, say for example, the this particular what all you are seeing is written using a comic book font. So the thing is, once you have the font and text, you can have the speech bubbles for the dialogue. So once again, if you use any of these tools or even PowerPoint, you have the shapes there, right? So the speech bubbles are there, and you can have them written. And then you separate the narratives into various chapters, and you can also come up with a visually appealing cover page. You can use tools like Canva or Photoshop or any of the design tools, or you can even ask the art generator to generate a cover page for you. So, and with some kind of edits here and there, hopefully you can generate a good and cover page, both front and back. So so I think that's it from my side about this particular presentation. And so now I'm open to questions. I'll stop sharing, and yeah.
Thank you, Surag, for this wonderful session. I think it was very educational for most of us. Uh, I think we use largely, generative AI to generate text, but what you have done is very exciting, and I think something to look forward for, for all of us to explore this area. Do we have any questions for Surag?
I think there's one comment in the chat box from Nibu.
Right. Okay.
Nibu, you
Yes,
can
Nibu,
share actually. Yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's not about the comment. Comment maybe Suraj can read later also. So the question is, how do you get corporate and marketing to accept comics as a style of communication? Because especially in B2B, they have many organizations have this stiff upper lip kind of stance when it comes to comics.
Yeah, generally it is like a case-to-case basis kind of a thing. So the one thing apart from the educational comics, what I tried out is used comics for a sales pitch. So during that time, I was working with the marketing and the sales guys. They wanted to try out something different with the uh, Czech. It's a Czech Republic customer, so wanted to try something that is different with them, and they wanted to come up with those images, that scenarios that were present in that particular country. So with the help of art generators, we were able to generate those things, and they were really fascinated. Why? Because it immediately got into and that is they felt that the end users will really relate to that, and they used it, and the kind of appreciation and the kind of remarks that they gave to me was so it's like so motivating, because they said that the clients were really floored with the kind of presentation and the visuals that were used. So it was really good to make an impression. So how to do that is, it's like nothing succeeds like success. You have to do some kind of a proof of concepts and show them that these things are possible. Because when people think about comics, they think about very cartoonish kind of characters, but the illustrations, say for example, the kind of illustration I like is this is the Spider-Man illustrations. This is the kind of semi-realistic illustration. So that is the same thing that I used in my books. So the kind of semi-realistic illustrations, which the art style that were used. And if you try out others, say DC, this particular illustration, this is highly realistic kind of illustration that they are using now. So it is not just comics that are the cartoon kind of art style that people are using. They are using many. They are going to the next level. So when you if you, it's a lot of hard work. It's like you cannot say hard work. It's like work of love of labor kind of a thing. If you have them ready and then you can present to them, perhaps they will like it. Keep trying.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something else here. So we've actually tried some proof of concept. So I don't know if you all know about Whatfix. So we have this ability to add content as a layer over any application, right? So when we first came up with carousel pop-ups, which is basically your ability to just slide through the content when instead of just seeing a pop-up, you would be able to slide through it as well. So we realized that people are just closing out of pop-ups even before they read the content, right? So as soon as it shows up, it's very intrusive. So in the when they're trying to do something else, they don't want to be interrupted, and it closes. They just close the pop-up. So that was what our analytics was saying. So what we did is we removed the corners. We removed the four corners. That basically we understood. Okay, when they see the four corners, they're associating it with the pop-up, and then closing it out. So we removed the four corners and we used comics, basically characters. So when they opened up Botfix, right, they would see these two characters, and there is no box around it, and they suddenly want to know more. Even if they are interrupted, they want to know more. And we added those call outs, and it was like a story. But we got a lot of pushback, especially from usability, because it is not accessible, and even corporate was not. This was in the early stages where we could do whatever we wanted because branding and all did not get interfered in too much, right? But right now it is very difficult to do things. Yeah, so that's something I want to share as well.
Yeah, Nibu. One thing you can also try is if you have any kind of connection towards the internal communication team, right? If some of the things can be, because it's within the organization, right? Any communication within the organization, if you can present it through comics or something like that, people are slowly being pushed into that particular culture and that particular thought. So wherever you feel that the things are not that strict and acceptable, perhaps you can think about that and bring that as the culture within the organization so that if you try to push it out once, you will be having less resistance. That's what I think.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Surag.
Nibu. Thank you, Surag. I think Aparna has a question.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Surag. This is Aparna Vardhan. First of all, thank you for this great session on this unique concept. So
Thank you.
my question is first a statement that we hear that generative AI, how we see it as a competitor, but it is more of our ally, our friend or assistant. So I realized it recently when I created a presentation, which otherwise uh, would have taken around 8 hours to me, but I could complete in 2 hours using ChatGPT and Gamma AI. So I wanted to understand that how much time it took to you to come up with a complete comic from inception to completion.
10 days to 14 days.
Wow,
Less than
that's great.
less than 2 weeks for a complete comic book. Okay, so that too, because the whole organization was sitting and giving review comments, because it was first for them as well. Generally, once you have once you establish a particular workflow, like, okay, this many people only will give the review comment, and then it will be even faster.
Yeah, agree. So if we have to do the ratio counting, so if it is 8:2 for a presentation, so how would you give it to a complete comic if it was being done in the absence of Gen AI?
Without Gen AI, it takes
Yeah.
around 8 to 10 months.
Oh my God. So the enhanced productivity is huge. It is kind of commendable.
Yeah, so the thing is, you are saying about AI taking the jobs, right? It's like actually I've taken away the job of all the people I've mentioned. That is the writer, the penciler, the inker, the colorist, the letterer, all those things, right? So that is really happening. And so the thing is, if you ask anybody whether I'll take away the job, many people will say no. It's not like that because they themselves will be affected. But the fact is, somebody using the AI will take away your job. So that is
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aparna. I think we have a question from Pradeep.
So, yeah, my question is like,
yeah.
say, I have a 20 pages a guide currently, like a hardware guide. So I'm planning to convert it into a comic so that it's more interesting and I know there are obvious benefits. So what will be the cost overheads for the company or for my team, like from a user guide to convert it into a comic? So will it be just the licenses of the product of the tools, or will there be other overheads? And will these costs reduce over time, or will it be the same? I just want to understand that part.
Okay, so the cost generally it will be the tools. Why? Because the if you are using Illustrator or if you are using Corel Draw, obviously it will be, or Manga Studio or something like that, it will be more. But if you are using PowerPoint, most probably it will be there in your system, right? So, so that is the tool. And in my case, the cost incurred was the subscription license of that particular art generator that I was using. And second is the so this book is actually printed, right? So the printing charges. So so the subscription license I took, why? Because tomorrow something related to copyright or something comes. It's like we have bought that particular subscription, so that's why we are using it. There are free subscriptions also available. You can try out with the free, and then if you are comfortable with that particular art generator, then you can go for a it's not that expensive. So just like the if you want to go for this paid version of ChatGPT, like that.
Thanks.
I think Sandhya has a question.
Yes, Surak. Yeah, highly interesting, topic. So thanks for sharing. Yeah, of course, in tech writing, but also, for me in creative writing as well. But my question was, have you experimented with any animation? Have you tried that? Or if you have not, I mean, how easy do you think is to extend this concept into animation?
So when it comes to the AI generated animation, it's still in the nascent stage because there are certain companies who have come up with an output. But if you look closely into their videos, you can find that, say, if somebody is walking, right, that person will be perfect. But in the background, somebody who's following this person will suddenly disappear. Like that, many issues are there when it comes to the AI generated animation or AI generated video, even though maybe by the time I do my next session, I maybe that's that will be an area that will be that I'll be talking. But I have done animations with various tools like Powtoon, Render Forest, and then Beyond, etc. So that tools are different. Those tools, what they have is they already have the animations there. It's like a template based thing. So you come up with your script and then you put them. So generally for marketing kind of videos, for social media kind of videos, I've done a lot of them, but they are not really the generative AI kind of tools, because by generative AI video generator, what I mean is you give a prompt and then you get an output. It's not like that. It's like a template based kind of videos.
Okay,
So
all right.
I think it still hasn't reached that level according to me or according to my experience.
Okay, so there's still evolution to happen there. Okay, we'll look forward to your next talk on this. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sandhya. I think we have time for one last question. Folks, there is a link we have pasted in the chat
Hi.
for you to provide feedback. Please provide your feedback. Go ahead, Chaitanya.
Uh, Thank you, Siraj. Actually, yeah, these are all for designers. It's a very refresher session. Yeah. And my question is here, like when you're using AI tools, like all the time you don't get our expected output. So we have something in mind, but when you're creating using the AI tools, sometimes if you're not getting exactly what your requirement, then in that case, what you are doing?
So I think I'll try to
Yeah.
illustrate with an example. So and there were many instances in which I was not able to get the exact output that I wanted. So generally what happens is based on the subscription you have, the tool will be able to give you 4 to 16 images. Okay, so among that 4 images, or if you have gone to a higher subscription like 16 images, at least one will be useful. That generally happens. But in some cases, all the 16 are not what you want. So say for example, this, if you can see this particular garbage box here, right? So here, even after multiple prompts, the images were happening, but what was happening is here something written was there, which I don't want. And so what I did was I took that this particular image that finally that I selected, and I brought that to Photoshop. So Photoshop now supports generative AI. So then I selected that particular area and asked to fill it with the gravel. So then it came cleanly. So if you know how to edit using some of the graphical editing tools like Photoshop, that's the thing. And as a compromise, and there were certain instances where I rewrote the script in order to match the image. So that also happened.
And like for storyboard, say then like the how you're preparing, like now actually that you are doing some rough diagrams or what you are giving the input for the AI.
No, actually, I write the script first. Okay, so I have this. I have the story in my mind. I write the story. Then from the story, then I write the script. So for that, you can use ChatGPT or any other generative AI tool also to help you in the script writing. So the scripts are written in such a way that it's for each panel. So I name the panel like that. It's like if it is the first chapter, instead of panel, due to some reason I use the term frame. So it is like F1 I mean, image 1, F2 image 2, like that. So then I underscore that particular image name. So in that particular way I used to name the panels in the script itself. Then one using that and for that particular scene I come up with the prompt. So, so there are certain prompts related to the art style, etc., which I can reuse. So I keep that in one place, and for each prompt, I copy and paste the same art style, the hues, the color hues I want, all those things. So generally, I do in that manner. I don't first generate a rough, because the rough sketching, all those things are required if you are doing it by hand first and then seeing. But I think in that level, maybe it will be even wonderful to do like that. But what if after doing all those things, the art generator is not cooperating with you? That is, it's not giving you the kind of output that you wanted. So being flexible is required. Definitely cannot challenge somebody from Marvel or DC with this kind of art generators. No, it's like they are still at a level higher. But for the corporate world where you do not, there are people who claim that they cannot even draw a straight line even with the help of two rulers. For them, they can use these art generators. And if you already know something about this, it even better.
Yeah, actually, I worked on Virgin Comics. Actually, they are in Shivaji Nagar. They have entire setup. As a graphic designer, I supported them. I know entire process how they are doing, how the coloring,
Definitely.
how the sketching, everything. Yeah.
Definitely, this will be, you can, if you start using it, you can create wonders with the help of this, because it will really help and enhance your work quickly. All the
Last
best.
question.
Yeah,
Last
sure.
question. Yeah, what is your best comic font?
Can that is the comic font that I uses Comic Sans Neue, NEUE. So that is for the for what all things that is there in the callouts, and for the effects I use Power Smash. So this is just something that I use, but there are many other. I don't have a favorite kind of a thing. I use this, and I think I will continue with this like that. Maybe tomorrow I will change also. I haven't tried out numerous ones and came up with that. Perhaps these were some of the earlier ones that I tried, and then I continued.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you, Surag, again for the wonderful session. The recording will be made available, and please also provide your feedback, which is pasted in the chat box. Thank you for the session, Surag.
Thank you.
All of you have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.